Okay, folks, this is video number 6 in my series of videos. My name is Jeffrey Scott Myers. I'm the founder of Quantum Levels Healing, Quantum Levels Healing Academy of Sciences. I'm a first-year doctorate student at Quantum University, working on my doctorate in quantum physics and integrative medicine. Just a little background again, even though I've said this in the other videos. I am educated in quantum physics, quantum mechanics, chemistry, evolutionary biology, biochemistry, philosophy, quantum biology, psychology, psychoneuroimmunology, epigenetics, psychoneuroendocrinology, neuroscience, consciousness, anatomy, physiology, nutrition, as well as the laws that govern the universe, the laws of thermodynamics, chaos theory, entropy, Newton's laws of motion, especially energy, laws of conservation, traditional Chinese medicine, chakras, meridian points, yin and yang, Mother Earth, Father Sky, and 23 years of personal training background. I wanted to do this quick video on stress because make no mistake, stress is the #1 cause of sickness and illness and disease worldwide, pretty much. We're a stressed out world. Considering all factors of overall health combined, our bankrupted beliefs and perceptions when it comes to mind, body, soul, and our spirit and overall health as human beings plays a major role as well. And I'm going off my notes here, of course. There's 3 kinds of stress. There's chemical stress, emotional stress, and physiological stress. And they're all pretty much present at the same time. No living organism, from the most basic bacteria cell to the modern human being, can survive under constant, long-term chronic stress. The fight or flight hormonal response is the most primitive and genetic trait an organism can have, is the mere system that has kept us alive and thriving for hundreds of thousands of years from an evolutionary standpoint. Stress, whether it be physiological, emotional, or chemical, it all has to do with the autonomic nervous system, the parasympathetic versus the sympathetic nervous system. And should last about normal stress, acute stress is what really it's about, supposed to be. Should last about an hour or 2, and then we should return back to homeostasis, balance. The big problem here is that we do not we do not shut this off, causing the body to chemically adapt to the new and faulted and expected state of balance. We don't turn it off. It just goes on and on and on. You see a cat run from a dog, an hour later he's lying in the sun licking himself. So, there you go. Animals don't have the type of long-term chronic stress we have, or they wouldn't be living. We experience different stress than other organisms experience due to the size of our frontal lobe, the crowning achievement of the human being, as well as our ability to recall memory and think into the future. Stress such as IRS, medical bills, credit cards, mortgages, bosses, time schedules, car repairs, kids' college, social media especially plays a big role. Relationships, family structure problems, the list goes on and on. Okay, other organisms don't have these type of problems, don't have these type of stresses, okay? 90% of people seeking medical help or intervention is due to stress-related illness. Stress is brought on by thought alone. I mean, nothing happens without a thought, okay? That's just basic. Or something in our external environment, or even a perceived threat that has no basis or merit, okay? Let's take a quick journey through the process in case you're wondering how this works. When the fight or flight mechanism is turned on, the brain produces high amounts of cortisol, adrenaline, glucocorticoids, a class of steroid hormones, as well as CHR, which are corticotropin releasing hormone, which stimulates the adrenal glands. As I've always said in my other videos, everything works together as a system, okay? The whole body works together as one. There's no separate parts here, people. And also ACTH, which is adrenocorticotropic hormone, part of the hypothalamic pituitary adrenal axis. Everything has to do with hormones, okay? Hormones run the show, like I've said before. All part of the stress response chemistry and hormonal actions. However, the first part of this process starts with energy, which produces a thought, which turns on chemistry, which turns on hormonal responses, basically. How is this possible, you ask? Well, the amygdala part of the brain sends a signal. These signals could be neurotransmitters, hormone, neuropeptides, ligands, are all part of this messenger process to the hypothalamus. Okay, you could think of the hypothalamus as a processing center where thoughts are converted into chemistry and sent to their destinations. Next step is to signal the pituitary glands to produce their intended chemicals, and onto the adrenal glands for distribution. And of course, the thyroid is a major player, causing physiological reactions. Something worth noting, high levels of cortisol in the blood degenerate brain cells in the hippocampus, the area of the brain responsible for thoughts, memory, exploration, and drive to experience new things. If you don't change, and this constant cortisol release is degenerating your brain cells, your neurons, it could basically take you to a point where you become routine and you don't have the drive to seek adventure in the unknown. Believe it or not, the brain is a very powerful organ. Let's talk about the cell. Cells have receptors for every corresponding chemical reaction, emotion, or stress hormone. For every single emotion, there's a matching chemical and a receptor on the cell to accept that chemical. Over time, these receptors become overused due to the constant state of abuse until the cell can't accept the signal anymore, or the cell develops too many receptors. And now we are in a state of cell adapting to the new level of stress and unbalance. Okay, the body's always trying to go into homeostasis. And when the body's altered chemically, especially because of stress, it'll take on a new balance, which isn't the proper balance, but it'll always adapt. In the brain, inform subconscious patterns and behaviors of the new stressed out you. Neurogenesis is halted to a certain degree. So basically, you build neural networks of your stress, and that's basically, kind of changes your being to those stress chemicals and what the cell receptors are taking in. Let's explore the actual effects of stress. When the body releases high amounts of stress hormones such as adrenaline, cortisol, glucocorticoids, ACTH, CHR, these are tough words to say sometimes, even for me, as the pancreas pumping out, and the pancreas also pumps out adrenal hormones through this, and a wide range of other chemical reactions that alters acid secretion in the digestive tract, as well as blood flow is decreased in the digestive tract, as well as the pH balance in the blood is altered as well. Many people develop problems like IBS, ulcers, GERD, diverticulitis, Crohn's disease, celiac disease, and other digestive issues because of stress. You can eat as healthy as you want. However, when the digestive system is shut down, you can't process or break down food properly, as well as minerals and essential vitamins can't be absorbed as well. This is all about energy. Like I've said many times, everything's about energy. Energy being taken from other parts of the body to deal with the stress, okay? The musculoskeletal system is affected by constriction, causing tightness, adhesions, and discomfort, not allowing the energy to flow properly through the fascia or the connective tissue, as well as joint problems, which may lead to RA, osteoarthritis, arthritis. The reason for this is that adrenaline is trapped in the muscles, and as well as under stress, human growth hormone production is hampered, so you're not having the growth and repair that you need for after a stressful situation. The body needs to repair and grow after that. Bile secretion and stomach acid are affected as well, leaving it open to SIBO, H. pylori, or any other type of viral or bacterial infections. The immune system shuts down as well, even furthering your chances of not being able to fight off disease, as well as the body not having the energy or resources to fight off cancer cells. Where the healthy immune system, everybody has cancer cells in them. It's just whether they cells turn cancerous. We'd be able to fight that off. But if under the stressful situation, the immune system shut down, you're not going to be able to fight off these cancer cells or anything else, which otherwise the immune system could have taken care of. Glucose is released into the blood in large amounts to supply the legs and vital organs with sugar to run, fight, flee, or fight. When there's no emergency and we don't respond, the sugar is stored as fat because, fight or flight, we're supposed to run or fight, but when we don't run or fight or flee, then guess what? That sugar stores as fat. Insulin uptake to the cell is disturbed as well, and it increases the size of the cell because of this process. As well as triglycerides being released into the blood. This is a major reason people can't lose weight, is because of the stress response. They can try everything. I've done this, I've done that, I've been on this diet and that diet, they're not losing weight. Well, that's because of stress. And also diabetes could be, you can also get diabetes from that too much release of sugar, especially if it's constant. Constant glucose releasing constantly over and over, day after day after day. What do you think is going to happen? You're going to get sick. You're going to get diabetes or some other type of illness. Blood pressure goes up in response to the perceived threat, causing the heart to pump harder for us to get out of our situation, as well as constant expansion of the lungs. Now, when the blood pressure rises, it puts a tremendous strain on the smaller capillaries in the blood vessels, as well as increase in cholesterol production. Now, I've said many times, cholesterol is arguably the most single important molecule in the body. It's all hormones stem from cholesterol. It's extremely important. Cholesterol is a building molecule. It's signaled when the body is supposed to grow. When there's no fighting or fleeing, cholesterol levels remain high, causing plaque buildup in the arteries. Long-term activation of the cardiovascular system is one of the leading causes of heart disease, which is the #1 killer in the world. Another thing, we burn through minerals due to the activation of the adrenal glands, and vitamins are not absorbed properly, leaving us deficient. One of the major reasons for stress-related illness is the fact that stress upregulates genes that cause disease and downregulates genes for growth and repair. This is epigenetics. The gene will respond to the environment that the cell is sitting in, basically. Inflammation markers will go up. Other symptoms of long-term stress activation can include, but not limited to, going off all my notes here. These are real nice ones here. Fatigue, loss of sex drive, impotence, miscarriage, weight gain, lowered sperm and egg production, insomnia, and the list goes on and on. The microbiome, our gut bacteria, is affected as well. Being the immune system, the nervous system, the brain, and the digestive tract all communicate with the gut bacteria. The stress response disrupts the links of communication, allowing possible overgrowth of fungus, microbes, and bacteria. I hope this is making sense, because this is what happens. This is what happens in the body. The mind, the autonomic nervous system, and homeostasis. When under stress, we cannot create, problem solve, use critical thinking, love, trust. If all of a sudden a mean dog appeared in front of you and you were scared, and I asked you to do a math problem or to make love, it's not happening. Remember, the brain does not know the difference between a real threat or a perceived threat. The chemicals released would have the same outcome, whether it's a real threat or is it just a perceived threat. The brain doesn't know the difference in that. And plus, coherence between heart and brain is limited as well. Lastly, let's take a look at the functions affected through the autonomic nervous system. These are things that these are things that just happen, but that you don't think about. Cell division, heart rate affected, blood sugar balance, body temperature, skin resistance, breathing, involuntary muscle action, fluid balance, pH levels in the blood, digestion, elimination, sodium, calcium, potassium, ion balance is disrupted, especially the ion channels in the cells. Gene expression, bile acid balance, liver enzyme production, negative feedback loops, peptide and hormone function, and balance. Reverting back to the hindbrain, just to name a few. It all basically comes down to the second law of thermodynamics. Actually, it comes down to the second law of entropy, which states all organisms go from a higher state of energy to a lower state of energy, which equals disease or death. As well as loss of information structure. Vibration carries information as the life force. That's why we're alive. That's why we're doing what we're doing. When this is interrupted, there lies a huge problem as well. The takeaway from this, calm down, relax. Like I said, stress is the #1 cause of disease, illness. And it's just doesn't seem to be getting any better. But, if you want to make it, you're going to have to find some ways to calm down and relax. So there you go. I hope you learned a little bit something today, and mellow out.